Thanks for staying with us. It is still in the game on News Central TV. Now, as the curtain draws on the 2024-2025 Nigeria Premier Football League season today, the fight for survival takes center stage in a nail-biting climax that will define futures and to rewrite fate. While Remo Stars claimed the title and continental spots have been secured by Rivers United and Abia Warriors, the bottom of the table tells a much more chaotic story. With only 2 relegation slots left and 4 teams mathematically in danger, the final whistle on matchday 38 promises either euphoria or heartbreak. Already relegated Lobi Stars are rooted to the bottom with just 25 points. Sunshine Stars are also deep in there, while Heartland and Akwa United square off in Owerri in what is perhaps the league's most consequential fixture in the season. Now, the encounter at the Dan Anyiam Stadium is more than a relegation scrap. It is a meeting of fallen giants, each with rich MPFL legacies now staring into the abyss. We've got Pius Ahamba joining us, and we'll be looking through what will happen, what is likely to happen in the MPFL. I mean, in football, we get to look at the final match day, and we try to determine the winners. And most times, relegation stories are even more interesting than the winners of the leagues. Pius, welcome to the show. Looking forward to a very, very chaotic encounter later today in the MPFL. Can you hear me, Pius? Okay, Pius, your network is frozen.
Yeah, of course, always a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for having me. Greg, can you hear me? I can hear you loud.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much. Continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure being here. And of course, like you already mentioned, the battle today would be a very serious, intense one. I feel so sorry for the teams you just mentioned. Like you rightly mentioned, falling giants, I would put them that way. Talking about Heartland and of course Akwa United. Akwa United just won the league a few seasons ago, and then they're in this situation. Yeah. Hopefully, I expect a battle, even though I think Heartland might just be taking this one because they're playing in front of their fans at home. But of course, that would be quite intense battle because Akwa United would not also want to go down without a fight. So, also play for today in the last game of the season.
All right, looking at the relegation battle, I mean, the table is on the screen, and it is crazy right there because Akwa United, Heartland, there's also El Kanemi Warriors, all of them in that relegation zone. And for Heartland, at some point this season, Pius, Heartland and the fans felt like, look, it's going to be safe for Heartland, but one way or the other, they found themselves in this mess. Are you there, Pius?
Well, for Akwa United and Heartland, you would look at. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? I don't think they can hear me. Heartland, you would look at 2 teams who I would say have contrasting journeys, if you will, because Heartland, you would want to pinpoint their own misfortune to lack of proper management. I think for Heartland themselves, they suffered what I call lack of proper management from the top, and not even for the club side from the top. I'm talking about, when I mean the top, I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, changing managers, bringing managers, taking out managers, buying players without the coach's knowledge, and then all of that has contributed to has formed what Akwa United is actually facing today. It's unfortunate for them because they used to be a household name, talking about the only team right there from the Imo State, where the teams like states like Abia State are producing 2 teams. Imo State giving out only Heartland, and then of course not even doing things the correct way. So it's quite unfortunate. I think if they manage to survive this particular one, they'll probably need to do a total overhaul of the players. They have a good coach, but maybe the players is just something they do not have. Ever since they won the league, they've been going from one problem to another. Also, they've had their own fair share of changing managers from one manager to another. And of course, their inability to keep their star players. Because of course, there's no player who want to stay in the team who doesn't even guarantee you a stay in the Premier League. So they've also had their own fair share of in and out, in and out, in and out. Maybe they've had stability in terms of guys at the top, but unfortunately, it has not really worked for Akwa United and of course Heartland. I'm so sad to see these two top teams battle out relegation. I mean, they shouldn't be in this position in the first place. But then, if you even take a look at Heartland, you probably would say they shouldn't even be in the Premier League in the first place. We all knew how they got into the Nigeria Premier Football League, and maybe that's why they're even struggling to stay in the league at this point in time.
Right. For Heartland of Owerri, it is going to be disastrous if they get relegated, because if they are they need to win today's game to somehow stay safe in the MPFL. If they lose today, if they don't pick any win, a point, it means that they'll be relegated 4 times. In 2016, there was also 2022, and then just recently, 2024, where they were relegated and they found themselves back. We all knew how they got back to the MPFL. So to be a disaster if they get relegated again. And before 2016, they've never been relegated. So the story seems to be very, very chaotic for Heartland. It is a must-win, a do-or-die affair today.
Them to leave it all out on the pitch to try and, maintain their status in the top flight division of the Nigerian Premier Football League. But it's going to be very difficult for them. It's going to be a difficult game, and you just can't easily call a win for them. But, speaking about Heartland holistically and them being, or rather them flirting with relegation in recent years, I think it's basically because sometimes I think they are too expectant of the team, and then they put too much pressure on the players, and then, the players eventually just crumble under it. It just seems to me that there's no proper sustainability plan. There's no proper long-term plan. And also, I think Heartland still views themselves as one of the top clubs in the MPFL. But honestly, things have changed, and then we've got more teams that are a bit more competitive. So I think they need to come to terms with reality in terms of the type of players they want to recruit in order to get themselves to be able to be competitive in the top half of the table. Also, the consistent changing of coaches does not help at all. Coaches come with their different philosophies, coaches come with their different style, and then sometimes it takes players a while to adapt. So this also doesn't help. It causes unrest in the locker room, and it affects them on the field of play. So maybe even Heartland getting relegated this time, it could be a good thing in the sense that they could then think back and they can learn from their mistakes and probably come back a bit more stronger, in my own opinion. However, it can also be seen as a disaster, considering the amount of money that they've spent to get to the top flight for this season. I think it would be a disaster if you're taking a look at it from a business point of view. So at this point in time, I think the only thing I can say is good luck to Heartland.
Good luck to Heartland as we look at what will happen later today in the MPFL. And on social media, football fans can be very, very dramatic. I mean, one put out a post saying that Sunshine Stars got relegated with 41 points, and for Man United, they finished with 39 points, and they still did not get relegated. So no United fan will be happy with that record. It is just crazy how football fans put out their minds.
That tells you how competitive the Nigeria Premier can be. Very competitive. If a team can be getting relegated with 41 points, it says a lot about how difficult the league is. Very difficult, I must tell you, very, very difficult. And that's why, and these days, good a team, we're able to get unpredictable results in Nigeria Premier Football League. Gone are the days when you will sit in the comfort of your home and then expect all home teams to win, and then it will happen that way. Nowadays, you see, Heartland got an away win against Rangers a few weeks ago. That was about 2 weeks ago, and then I see. So there are a few unpredictable games happening in Nigeria Premier Football League, which is good to see. I feel so sorry, like Duku rightly mentioned, Heartland FC. They are also they can. At the beginning of the season, the governor of the state, Senator Hope Uzodinma, clearly told what's his name, the coach,
Emmanuel
Amuneke told him that the mandate is given the coach is to take them to the continent, a team that is coming from relegation. You are telling him to bring the trophy to Imotet and take you to the continent. That's how we reason as administrators in this country. If it is not about bringing trophies, if it is not about taking you to the continent, then it is nothing. Then you have not done anything. That's why we don't develop players. That's why we don't group. That's why we don't want to see style of play. All we want to do is win and win and win. And that's why the same thing that happened to Akwa United. After winning that trophy, they just went down because the only thing is to come back to win another trophy again. They don't believe in process. They don't believe in the process at all. Everything Remo Stars have done in the last few years, some of these state-owned clubs don't believe in it at all. All they want to do is give you money, go and buy up the players, give you money, do everything you want to do, and bring the trophy because they use the trophy as CSR. That's what they want to do. That's what most of all of these governors want to do. They have a club in their state. They're presenting the state as a CSR, as one of the things, one of the projects I am doing for the community, so that you can vote for me in the next 4 years. That's what we are concerned about in Nigeria. And that's why when you see things like Akwa United and Heartland go down relegation, you just want to wonder and just look at the bigger picture and say, yes, it's probably what they deserve. Because you can't tell a team who bought its way into the league, bought your way into the league, you're telling that team to go all the way and give consider tickets or bring the trophy home. I mean, you're not going to perform magic. It's not going to happen. So they probably will learn. If they get relegated, probably will go back into NLL, buy another slot, come back to the league, and then the cycle continues again for Heartland, unfortunately.
All right, we would wait until the final whistle is blown in the Nigeria Premier Football League to determine who eventually goes down and who stays up.